then like the junk food on top, right? But for an athlete, it is a little bit different. Okay. So basically, for an athlete, like the most bottom is going to be your obviously your high quality, your whole foods, which are going to be like your dal, roti, rice, all your cereals, your proteins. Okay. Then the second one is going to be the micronutrients that are important. That is your vegetables. Then is your nutrient timing. So when you give what foods, basically like before a game, what are you giving? After the game, what are you giving for their recovery? These things are extremely important versus a normal diet. And then the fourth point is your fueling. So, how are they fueling during the training? Are they having some kind of electrolytes? Are they taking a banana, maybe dates? And the fifth is the supplementation, which comes much later when they're older and into a more intensive competitive phase, right? So, and why would you put like the whole quality food? So the carbs are mainly the ones that comes down because their energy levels are so high, they're running so much during the training. Carbs is actually the most important food that they need to consume, even over proteins. So it is a myth that athletes need like excessive protein. They definitely need more, but they do not need excessive protein. They actually need more carbs. They need extra carbs over your regular population. Okay. Now we know the importance of nutrition, right? So especially at their age, we're talking about like really tiny kids, right? So over time to build muscle mass, obviously they need like a good base of nutrition for their immunity. If they're gonna fall sick between games and all, then it pushes them back quite a bit. And they're at a stage where they need to grow. So obviously good growth, their energy levels, and carbs actually help to provide glucose to the brain. So, yeah, I will get to that part. So, carbs provide glucose to the brain. So, they obviously are going to help with your mental alertness. That part is also really important. And in football, because there's so much that they actually, while playing, it's not just physical. Like they do have to think, okay, I need to run to this position. Okay, the ball is coming here. So I need to be there. I need to be covering this man. There is also a lot of thinking that goes into football. So the mental alertness is also extremely important. Okay, now let's talk about balanced diet. So basically, carbs you need in 50 to 60%, proteins about 25 to 30%, fats 20 to 25, vitamins and minerals like throughout the day. You need at least 3 to 4 servings. So that could be 2 fruits and having salad twice a day, and water at least 2.5 to 3 liters. Any questions so far? Just about this part? None?
Yeah. So basically, how do you ensure the water intake? Because that's the major problem that we have. We just don't like drinking water. So how
Okay.
does one account?
Okay, so I come to a little bit of that later on about doing water as well as like a nimbu pani during training. So that is something that they can, consume really easily. I'll come to that though. So, okay, do you all have like pen and paper now?
Yes, yes.
Yeah? Okay. So now what you all can do is basically, okay, this is your carbohydrates. I think we all pretty much know what carbohydrates are, but there are two types. Okay, you have your complex carbohydrates, which take time to digest, and you have your simple carbohydrates. I'm sorry, can you give me 1 second? Uh, just give me 1 second. Sorry. Okay. Yeah, is it visible? Yeah. Okay. Right. So you have your complex and your simple carbohydrates. So complex carbs actually take a longer time to digest. So which means the release of energy also is it's released like over time. Okay, it takes at least 2 to 3 hours for that energy to be released by the body and to burn. But simple carbohydrates, they it easily gets digested by the body. So there can be like rapid sugar level spikes. So now I want to ask y'all, when would be the best time to have complex carbs and when would be the best time to have your simple carbs?
Complex during the day and simple at night.
And simple at?
Night or later in the day.
Okay, not complex, yes, throughout the day for sure. So, complex is mainly your breakfast, lunches, and your dinners. Okay, simple carbs is what you want to have before the training. So, like banana, for example, I'm sure lots of them must be having banana before a training, right? Because that actually gives like a spike of glucose in the body, which is going to help them perform. So, like, let's say half an hour before a training, you cannot eat roti, you can't eat rice, it's too heavy. So, you're going to give like a banana instead, or maybe a glass of milk if they don't feel uneasy, maybe a spoon of honey as well. That is a great source of carb, also. So, what you all can do is now the carbohydrate recommendation is basically 5 to 10 grams per kg body weight, which means if you multiply 5 into the body weight. So, okay, can one of you give me an example of like one of your kids' weights? So, I'll just help you all do it then.
20, easy number.
20. Okay. 100 grams is what he needs a day
No,
minimum.
I just picked a number. Yeah.
Yeah. So 100 grams minimum. Now, if you see, okay, on the roti has 22 grams of carbs. That is approximately one roti. Okay, or approximately like 30 grams of rice, which is a bowl of rice, has about 23 grams of carbs. So basically, what he would need to get that 100 grams of carbs is maybe like two rotis, two bowls of rice, that would give us 80, and then maybe two slices of bread or like sweet potato in the day. So, or maybe oats. So he does oats for breakfast, he does two rotis for lunch, and he does two bowls of rice for dinner. And then maybe like a banana before training or a glass of milk after training. And he's 100% hit his carb intake, which is perfect. So that is good. This is something that y'all can, it's very simple to do just to make sure that they are not in an energy deficit or in a deficit where they're not getting enough glucose to function throughout the day. So I do not particularly believe in calculating every day. Like also they're very young, so you don't have to sit and calculate everything, not required. But just to get an idea that yeah, okay, at least he should be having these many rotis a day, this much rice a day, this much banana a day, so that he has enough energy to sustain throughout the day. And the minimum would be 5. The maximum you could go to is about 10. If he's getting a little bit extra, also not a problem because they go to school, they're expending a lot of energy over there. Absolutely okay. But at least to have a good enough idea of how much they should be having. So to give an example, now the complex carbs are your roti, your rice, your oats, even dals, they do come under carbohydrates, as well as protein a little bit, but they actually have more carbs in it than protein. Sweet potato is a great source of a complex carb. Brown bread as well. Then your simple carbs. These are some foods that they could have before the training or even little bit of it after. Like a tablespoon of honey can be had before. Banana can be had before. Fruit juice before. And maybe after you could do like a glass of milk with white bread and some granola. Now, remember that before they would need to have a higher amount of carbs, and after the training, like a mix of carbs but protein as well to help them recover. Yeah, so is this part clear?
Yes.
Yeah, any questions on this? Or you all got how to do the yeah?
Yeah.
Then we can go to proteins. Awesome. So again, you have in proteins, you have two types of proteins. Okay, you have your complete and incomplete. So complete proteins are basically like your meat, your eggs, your dairy. Okay, and incomplete proteins are more like your dals, your seeds, your quinoa. Now, as a non vegetarian, it's much easier, of course, to hit the protein needs because whatever protein you have, also, most of it is going to be used up by the body because you have it's a better protein profile. But with vegetarians, it is a little bit more difficult. So, what the important part here is that you mix different types of proteins and you give it in one meal. So, let's say, anybody who's a vegetarian here? I can give an example of you all then. No one? Oh wow. Okay.
Pratik is there. Pratik, go ahead.
Okay.
There are very few. We have all changed our eating patterns thanks to our kids.
Pratik, you had put your hand up now. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I am a
So-
pure vegetarian plus Jain. So we don't eat
Jain.
potatoes and onions and everything.
Yeah. Okay. So it's still not a problem. Like it's very manageable. So for you, what you would have to do to get that complete protein is in one meal, make sure there is dal, make sure there is some dairy product as long as he's not allergic to dairy. You can also, quinoa is also a great source of protein. So if you don't do that in your diet, maybe you can add quinoa. We also on the side do some peas or some nuts. So these mix together. Basically, the little proteins from all these four things will make it a complete protein.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's important to kind of mix it up. As a non-vegetarian, thing is you can easily have chicken and rice and you will still get your proper protein. But as a vegetarian, it's important to remember to add in different protein sources to make it a whole protein. That is very important. So now you all can also do the calculation. So you all can do 1.2 into the body weight. So let's do, we'll take 20 as the example, right? So 24 grams of protein. That's actually quite easy. He can literally have maybe like a glass of milk a day, maybe an egg. So that would give you 15 already. And then if he has chicken at night. So pretty simple. A glass of milk in the morning, an egg for lunch, and then chicken at night. But now this is also the weight is really less, 20 kgs. I don't know what is the average weight over here in this group?
25, I think 25.
25.
25.
I think.
Yeah.
27. 25.
44.
25 to 30.
30.
Okay. So I would suggest maybe for now you all can take the upper limit. Try to hit the higher limit of things because they're also growing. And in school, they're going to school, there's a lot of energy expenditure, I'm sure apart from football, few of them must be playing other sports as well. So
Yeah.
try to hit the upper limit. But is this like you all also understood this? So again, this is just to make sure that they are hitting their protein requirement so that recovery is not a problem and their growth and their immunity is not a problem. Yeah, sorry. Did anybody have a question?
I just wanted to ask, is it better that protein
Really good question, actually. So it is really important that protein gets divided throughout the day. So let's say his total intake is 30 grams. So in 3 meals, if you're doing 3 meals a day, you want to do kind of 10 grams in the morning, 10 grams for lunch, 10 grams for dinner. So it's like that. Let's say if you're doing 5 meals, then you divide it like 6 grams. Sort of. It doesn't have to be exact 6 grams, obviously, but I'm just giving you an idea of what it should be like. That protein should be divided throughout the day. Even carbs also, like divided throughout the day, is just before training, you might want to give like that extra energy boost. Yeah, is that answers your
Yeah,
question?
thank you.
Okay, then we can move to fats. Now, fats, yeah, you get about basically what the body weight is what you can give of fats, but you don't need to calculate the fats part. Just make sure that obviously you're not putting like too much oil into the food, that keeping it minimal, so that over time the cholesterol levels don't go high, and it doesn't lead to yeah, basically also too much oil, then they feel really heavy, and that's not going to help with their training. And then you have your healthy fats and your unhealthy fats. So the healthy ones are like your olive oil, your fish, okay, the egg yolk. They also don't need to not eat the egg yolk. Like, that is a myth that it's going to increase your cholesterol levels, unless they are very much predisposed to high cholesterol levels, like it's genetics. Then maybe you can do just 2 egg yolks a day, but otherwise they can easily eat 3, 4 a day if they're eating that many eggs. That is not a problem. Egg yolk, in fact, has a lot of your B vitamins, your vitamin D, whereas vitamin D is going to be lacking in most of them. So egg yolks are actually really good. They can go for also like peanut butter, nuts, seeds, paneer. So it's important to include all of these foods. And obviously your unhealthy fats, just do not use like palm oil and vegetable oil. So if that is what you're using at home, I would say to switch. Towards the end of the presentation, I have also like listed the oils that are good to use. Butter can be used, but obviously in limited amounts. Cheese also here and there in the sandwiches, maybe twice a week if you want to put twice, thrice a week, it's fine. Ice cream, fried food, your pastries, your processed foods, obviously we all know should be limited to once in 2 weeks, maybe. Yeah, that's clear, this one? Okay. Really? Are they having like the chocolates and the ice creams very often? Yeah. Yeah. So the important thing is to start at this age to just, keep enforcing the habit. So even when they go out, I'm not saying don't eat the cake. Like if you're going for a birthday, eat it. You're like 10 years old. But obviously in limits. So if they're eating, like, try if they can limit it to like one piece of cake. Or, ice cream they do once a week or once in 2 weeks. So as much as you can, because if they're really trying to become like pro players and these kind of things, the discipline that they have with food and the emotional regulation that they are going to need to have with food starts at a very young age. If they can manage it now, it'll be much easier later on, because then to do it later on, to get that discipline in, is difficult. Yeah. Okay. So. Right. So now we'll go to like the foods to be limited. So on that itself, cold drinks. I don't know how many of them have cold drinks, but right now at this age, definitely is a no, because there's a lot of chemicals in your cold drinks. It can definitely cause, it can block the absorption of calcium in the body. There's also lots of sugar in it that we are not aware of. Like there's the sugar free, like your, I don't know if you all have heard of your sucrose. Yeah, thank you. I lost the name. But that has shown research that it can cause cancer later on. We don't know for sure. But yeah, so these kind of things, as much as possible, avoid it. Instead, you can always go for, like, give them a nimbu pani. As much as possible, try to replace these foods. It'll be like a constant, okay, don't have this, but take this instead. like slowly over time is what you can do. Then obviously your high sugary foods, we already went over that, and your fatty foods. Also with these foods, what happens it increases inflammation in the body. Do you all know what inflammation is?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, so athletes in general, like because they're running, especially footballers, because they're running so much, they already have a certain amount of inflammation in the body. Now, if you add these foods as well, and if they're having it often, the inflammation is going to spike, and their recovery is not going to happen. And over time, it can also lead to injuries. So that's where also it becomes very important to maintain that discipline. But also on that, some amount of sugar is important for athletes. Okay, because they have to be so quick in the games, they're running so much that the sugar gets immediately absorbed so that it's available to the muscles, so helping them to perform. So let's say in a nimbu pani, you don't need to avoid putting sugar. That nimbu pani during the training needs the sugar and it needs the salt at that time, because at that time it's immediately being used up by the body. Okay, so there are timings when it's really important to have that sugar, and the main time is before the training and during the training. So like you can give a jam sandwich before the training, and during the training you can do a nimbu pani with sugar. And this sugar for sure is going to be used up. It's not going to affect them in a negative way. So yeah, like sugar should not be put in your daily foods, like your dal, the sabzis, the rotis. There is where it is not going to help them. Like your dals, your rotis, they already have glucose in it. They already have natural sugars. So to add processed sugar in it is not the right way to do it. That's clear?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so now we'll come to like how can you periodize your nutrition. Okay, so let's say they have a game at 5 o'clock in the evening. So 3-4 hours before that, how are you going to make sure that they're getting enough energy to be fueled for that game? Right? So I don't know if any of you follow this, but basically 3 to 4 hours before, at around 1 o'clock, they need to have a proper lunch. So this lunch can be like a whole balanced meal. So you can do your dal, you can do your roti, your rice, your paneer, the sabzi. Okay. Make sure that the meal is proper and they're getting enough carbs in that meal. Then it is very important again that 2 hours before the game. So let's say now it was 1 o'clock. Again at 3 o'clock, they're having a small snack. Could be a jam sandwich, could be a glass of milk, could be also something as simple as like granola and dahi. Okay, like a small bowl of it. Then again, like an hour before or 30 to 45 minutes before, you can give them a banana or maybe dates. Or the bottom picture is actually their energy balls. So their dates mixed with a little bit of peanut butter, some cocoa powder, and some nuts. They taste really good and they're very simple to eat. Also, kids tend to love it. So that is something that you all can add in as well. And 20 minutes before the game, what you want to do is maybe an electrolyte. Now for them, because they're small, you can just do nimbu pani is perfect. They can maybe hydrate a little bit with water and a little bit with nimbu pani. And then we'll come to during the training. But yeah, so this is basically how you periodize your nutrition for their training, for their games. This is understood. This is one of the most important parts actually, to keep just little fuel before the training. This is clear? Yes. Okay, so that's also important. Now let's say you have like a really early morning game, 7 a.m. Right? How do you periodize for that? Difficult. So the night before, make sure that they're having extra carbs. So for us, what we found is easiest is to give pasta, because they can eat a lot more pasta than they can consume rice and roti. But it really depends player to player. So they can either do rice, roti, and you give them a sabzi with like potatoes in it, a lot of potatoes. So they're already getting that extra carb intake. Okay, then early in the morning, the game starts at 7. Then if you're waking up at maybe 5:30 because you have to travel, obviously 5:30 in the morning you can't eat a lot. So then at 5:30 what you can do is a quick jam sandwich, maybe a glass of milk and some energy balls. And then maybe 15, 20, 30 minutes before the game, a banana. And then during the game you do the nimbu pani, which also has sugar in it, right? So again they're getting that glucose in. So there again you can periodize it to make sure that they're not burning more energy than they have consumed. So they're not dropping that weight. The weight is maintaining. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, so this part is clear, like understood. The easiest to do is bananas, to do dates.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So no, even if they are like under 10 and their training is not very intensive, like have you all, I don't know, like for them, is it intense though? Hmm. Okay. Okay, it's a 5v5. Okay. So yeah, then obviously they don't need to eat like so many times. Okay. Yeah, then obviously they don't need to be fueled so many times. But well, to also start now to make that habit, like basically to kind of train their gut to like eat a little before, will also be really important. You don't have to then do like milk and a jam sandwich, but can just do an energy ball and a banana before. So that could also, yeah, help. Okay, then we can come to like during training. So basically, like I said, you can do a nimbu pani. So in a liter of water, what you do is about 3 tablespoons of sugar, like half a teaspoon of salt, and a bit of lemon. That's how you can make that is like the correct ratios to use. Like 3 tablespoons of sugar, half a teaspoon of salt, and some lemon. So that is if the training again is about 60 to 90 minutes. Then you really need an electrolyte. If it is not, then it's not necessarily, but like somebody asked, right, that their hydration is a bit of a problem and they're not drinking water. So you can still give them nimbu pani. It's just one of the easiest, safest things to do. So if you want, you can give it to them twice a day. So at least they are hydrating in a day if they're fussy about having a lot of water. And post training. Now, post training, what is important is so it's the 3 hours of recovery. So, how do you make sure that you are recovered? Very important to refuel. So, you should have at least like half a plate with carbs. Okay, then you want to rebuild. So, you want to rebuild your muscle. So, this is where you focus on proteins. So, at least 1/4 of the plate you want to have protein rich foods in it, and then you want to rehydrate. So again here, very important to make sure that they are hydrating themselves because they must have sweat during training, lost a lot of salt, sugar from the body. So to make sure that they're drinking water or the nimbu pani again, or even yeah, fruit juices if that's once in a while, if they want to go for fruit juices also okay. Sports drinks are more for 14 above, I would say, when it gets intensive. For this age group, sport drink is no supplements are required. Just get everything through whole foods. Okay. Okay, so have any of you heard of this? Rate of perceived exertion. It's called an RPE. No?
No.
No? Okay, so this is a great way to kind of understand how intense the session has been for the athlete and how you can change the nutrition to help them to recover and to have those sustained energy levels. Okay, so there's a scale of 1 to 10, like you can see 1 to 10, and the energy levels are written. So 1 is like very light activity, 2 to 3 is light, 4 to 6 is moderate. Then you have like vigorous, very hard, max effort activity. So now if you read what's written inside, like very light is there was basically hardly any exertion over there. Okay, then 2 to 3, so you were like it was easy to breathe after the session, you can talk properly, not a problem. Moderate would be you were breathing heavily and maybe you can talk a little bit, but you're like it's a bit challenging. Then 7 to 8, it means you are like short of breath after the session. 9, it was a very difficult, very intense session, and 10 is like you're on the ground, like they're completely out of breath. So what you can do with this is after the sessions to first, but of course, show them this chart and then maybe ask them like where do they rate their session. So if I had to ask like are any of the boys here, maybe I can just ask them if they can rate one of their sessions to give you an understanding. Yeah. Hi, Kabir. Hi. Okay, so I wanted to ask you, okay, now if I tell you on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being the easiest, okay, 10 is the hardest. Your last football session that you did, what would you rate it on a scale of 1 to 10? Do you understand the question? Yeah? 8.5. Okay, so that means were you like out of breath after that session? Kind of, yeah. Okay, so for him the session was quite intense. Then it was an 8. So which means that the next day he is going to be really tired, right? Were you really tired the next day? No? Okay, maybe not the next day, but yes, after the session for a little bit, you were how did you feel? Actually, you tell me how you felt. Okay, like an hour after the session, how did you feel? You had a shower and then you were fine. Okay. But basically, thank you, Kabir, for your help. Yeah, okay. So you understood, right? Very easy for them to gauge how intense their session was. Like you will also never know. It's only from them that you will know how intense it was. Hmm. Yeah, because the RPE also depends a lot on even the mental energy actually. Maybe the training wasn't hard, but maybe I mean I know they're really small, but still, they could just be feeling low that day. So the training, even if it's not intense, they will feel that it is more intense. Like there will be times where you will have where one kid says the RPE is 5 and the other one is saying it's 8. It could be a lot of other reasons as well, but you will see the difference in how they perceive their own trainings. So this is something we practice daily. Like every single day, our players tell us what their RPE was, so we can periodize their training, their nutrition, all these things accordingly. Um, so yeah, how do you play it according to RPE? Because now we're talking about nutrition, right? So what you do is, now this is basically an easy training day. So your RPE might have been about 1 to 3, 1 to 4. Here is where they can easily consume more vegetables, more vegetables, more salads in their main meal. Quarter plate of carbs, and quarter plate of protein. So let's say usually they have 4 rotis. Here they can have 2 rotis if they feel like having, and they can maybe have more. They can focus on the vitamins and minerals more. Okay. Now, if your RPE was it was moderate, okay, so that would come between 5 to 6, 5 to 7. Then you want to do quarter of everything. So quarter plate of the vegetables, quarter plate of the carbs, quarter of the proteins. Protein always remains quarter. Protein you want to keep the same, like I said, like the same throughout the day, like divide it properly. And if they're having a very heavy session, like Kabir said, okay, so here is where it's important that now he's probably feeling like he's really put in a lot of energy. The training has been intense for him. So here is where you want to increase the carbs then. So let's say he can't eat more than 2 rotis. Then you do a little bit of, like I said, a potato sabzi. Or you add in, like, you can hide in carbs. Or maybe he can do 2 rotis, little bit of rice, some potatoes. So you'll already get like half a plate of carbs over there. And then you do your quarter of a sabzi, can decrease the vegetables on that day. And protein, again, you keep the same. So is this, you all understood how you can kind of change it around to the RPE? Yeah, it's very simple, not so difficult to understand also, but this is something that's really small that actually helps a lot. Because they also will not be able to eat the same amount every day. That's very difficult. Some days is going to be less intensive. They're not going to use so much energy. So they're not going to be able to eat like 4 rotis. They're going to maybe eat just 1. So like that, you can also, help them to tailor it around. Don't have to push them always also. And now we can just come to some healthy swaps that you all can do. So I was talking about how not to have cold drinks and these kind of things. So instead of your cold drinks, how you can do like just a homemade drink, a nimbu pani, or a fruit juice, like a fresh made fruit juice at home whenever they're craving it. This I can just make it big and share. Then instead of chocolates, how you can try to do chocolate peanut butter energy balls at home. Instead of like dips outside, so you can make hummus at home, do some yogurt dips at home as well. Or instead of Nutella, you can do nut butters at home. This is actually extremely simple to make. You literally just take peanuts, you grind the peanuts, you can put some cocoa powder in it, add some dates to it, and you literally get like a really, really good chocolate spread. And instead of chips, you can instead give them like salted nuts or roasted potatoes, or even makhana. Makhana is also pretty good. So yeah, that's about the swaps. And here is basically a menu layout of how you can get in like your fats, carbs, and proteins. So let's say this is kind of like an ideal thing. Obviously, not everybody can follow this, but just to give you all an example. So breakfast, what are the fats? Are going to be giving them some sort of nuts or dry fruits in the morning. To get their vitamins and minerals, you can give them a fruit. For the carbs, you can give them like your pancake, your poha, upma, sandwich, parathas. And proteins, give them eggs, or you can give them a little bit of paneer in the morning, or even a chilla, because that has your little bit of dal in it, or some milk or soya. Then in school, if you can do like fruits and a sandwich with it. Lunch again, for your minerals, you can do the sabzi and the salads. Then for your carbs, your roti and rice, and your protein will be your dal or your meat, your egg, paneer, soya again, and fat and dairy will be your dahi and your chas. And then again, like it repeats basically. Your snacks, what you can do. Pre-training, again, you can give like banana dates. During training, nimbu pani. Post-training, a chocolate milkshake is actually really good because cocoa powder has magnesium in it, which is good for the muscles to relax. So chocolate milkshake is not something that needs to be like no, but after a training, it's really helpful. And dinner again, very similar to lunch. And bedtime, if they need some additional recovery, if you're seeing that they're struggling, then you can do a healthy milk. It's very easy. And some good oils to use are like your cold pressed groundnut oil, sesame oil, mustard, coconut oil. So you can keep switching between the oils. And for salads, olive oil. Okay, so that was, on this. Any questions on the menu?
What about ghee instead of oil?
Sorry?
What about ghee instead of oil?
Yeah, so ghee also you can use very much. It's ghee is really good. So you can add it into the dals, the rice, and all, and use it. Okay. Yeah, so what I would say is like in the morning, then make sure you're adding some sort of dairy. So, like, let's say breakfast, you can add in like a dahi. So, a good 150-gram bowl of dahi. Then for lunch, maybe add in a chas. Then as like evening, add in maybe like the sattu milkshake you can do in the evening. And then at night, again, if you're comfortable, then do dahi at night. Or before sleeping, do a glass of milk. So like that, you will already add in some amount of protein to each meal along with the dal. So even like your roti rice has a certain amount of protein in it. It's not that it doesn't. It does. But you also need to add in the protein from the other foods to make it a whole protein. Yeah. I would also suggest doing like chillas for breakfast. That is pretty good. Yeah. 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 Okay, so yeah, this was actually the last slide, so we are done. So I'll open it to questions if anybody wants. Everything is clear. Anybody wants to ask anything?
Hi, can you suggest some good snacks on the go? Like kids are sometimes going from one sport to the other. So I mean something they
Yeah, my go-to is usually like a peanut butter or a peanut butter jam sandwich, bananas, the energy balls that I showed you, definitely dates, a bunch of nuts, even like granola sometimes. It does have a little bit of extra sugar, but that is okay because they're then going for the training. So that also, you can also do like besan laddus. That's also pretty good, and they tend to like it. So yeah, these are some snacks that you can do on the way.
Thanks.
No problem. This is like before training, right? You're asking.
So what I'm saying is that sometimes the kids are doing two sports and they go from one to the other. So I mean,
Yeah. So then between the two spots, these are the best things to have. You want to do something that they can digest really easy. Otherwise, they're going to feel heavy for the next spot. So they're not going to eat it. So quickest to do is like your instant sugars. Yeah. Any other questions? Yeah. Yeah, so I do individual consultations, usually mostly online because that tends to work best. I can send you the details and you can forward it to if in case anybody wants. Yeah. Otherwise, I can also like share this presentation. You all can go over it, show it to the kids as well, and with the recording if required. So not a problem.
Yeah, that would be great.
Yeah. Sorry.
That would be great to just
Yeah.
get a reference because a lot of points which we can use, like
Yeah. So
go
you
back to
can.
this.
Yeah, you can use a couple of the things from it, so I can share it. And there were few slides that I didn't really think I needed to show during the presentation, but I will send those as well. It's got some like dessert recipes, some foods for recovery, which you can just refer to and add in. So, yeah. Okay, I'm glad. I hope you all got something out of it.
Thank you.
Yes, most definitely. Thank you so much, Muskan.
No problem. Thank you, guys. Yeah.
Thank you.
See you.
Thank you.
Bye.